Hey, Luke, as long as you're just standing there, see right behind you that bottle? That's carpet cleaner.
Yeah.
Could you just clean the upstairs carpet as long as you're just standing there? Is there
Yeah,
a towel
sure.
there? Yeah, if you could just,
Every step,
yeah.
and then the other ones too.
Oh, maybe after we're done.
After we're done.
You know what I do is I do 2 steps each day because 2 wear me out.
Just 2? How long do you spend on each?
Well, you spray it
Yeah.
and then you wait 10 minutes and then you take that towel and you rub it like hell and you get all the dirt comes right up onto
The towel.
that rag. Are we are we live now, Gabe?
Oh, we've been live.
Okay, is
You
this
got-
a good shot? Okay.
You got all of that.
Okay, good. But yeah, that's how I clean the carpets. Just to get a different vein to this, because you've thought about carpets, haven't you?
It's a daily thing.
Yeah, because I bet your dad swifts like crazy. Huh?
Swifts?
Swifts? You put a swift mop? No, to collect. How do you take care of your hardwood floors in that home?
He wipes them.
On his hands and knees?
That's his MO.
That's got to stop.
He uses the knee pads. You know that's how he is.
That's got to stop.
He's your son.
I know, but I stopped it.
You gotta tell him.
I will, because
And then
that's nonsense. That's a floor. It's not the table.
You gotta tell him. I've been trying to
Okay.
tell him.
I will tell him. I'll send him a Swiffer outfit.
What do you got there?
I got a book of poems. And this guy, his name is Bob Hickok. And I saw him in, what is it called? New York Book Review. They did a couple of his poems in there. And he's very different, very different.
Okay.
And you talked about, like you don't know what something's about,
Right.
and that's not exactly something you are aiming for.
Right.
Okay. Now, I'm going to give you a dramatic reading of this. It's not very long. But see if you can pick up just an idea of what he's trying to get across. And could you put something like this to music?
I feel like I'm in
That's my
school again.
question
This is like
for-
a test.
It's not like a test, yeah.
Okay.
But I used to be a teacher. I used to pretend to be a teacher.
Okay.
And I had a lot of kids fooled for many years, let me tell you.
So I'm listening for what I think it's about, and if I could put it to music.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want your reaction to this. Would you call this artistic? Would you call this well-crafted? Would you call this musical?
Okay.
In any way, in any sense of the word. And, okay, the title is Civilization. We were going along holding hands when we came across a man punching another man. My lover's a creature wired with surprising windings, and noticed the man doing the punching looked tired. She offered and was accepted in her offer to punch the other man for the punching man a while. Then gave me a look that said, "Where are your manners?" And I donated the punched man my body to be his body for a period of time. During this rest, they took a tender interest in each other, asking after children and spouses, and bets on long shot horses, even sharing a ham sandwich one had kept hidden and warm under his arm. When they ran out of things to say, rather than accept the onslaught of silence, the one tapped her shoulder and the other tapped mine. To his thank you, I said a bloody "You're welcome" as we walked off again holding hands. Of all the reasons I love my love, not the least is she knows how the world works. Badly. Etiquette is the way she fights back, and with a right cross, I can tell you from experience, is lovely. My head still rings from how considerate she is.
My first impression is, I think hearing the title was helpful because I kind of, the way I interpret, especially early on, of they're holding hands and then the punching, is that it's showing the vast range of humans and how they can be, how we can go from love to violence, and then judgment, but that I think like that's all I can say because I don't want to misinterpret anything else. I feel like yeah, it's just I think it's a play on showing the civilization. It's kind of like ironic. It's kind of the way I took it, that we aren't very civilized, and that, like I said, there's a wide range of feelings and emotions within humans. Musically, I think anything with like meter and rhyme. I know that didn't really rhyme, but pacing. I mean, then that's just the discussion of what is music. Does it need melody? Does it need?
What about a topic like that? Could that topic be food for a song?
Yeah, it just depends on how you communicate it.
Okay, sweethearts walking along, in love. Notice two guys fighting,
Yeah,
and
this is a Paul Simon song.
yeah,
Yeah,
and the woman says, "You know, the guy doing the punching looks really tired. I should go help him. I should go offer to take his place and punch this other guy for him." And so she does it. She's punching away at the other guy. And then she looks at her boyfriend and says, "Where are your manners? Take the place of the guy getting punched." And he says, "Okay." So he does. And his girlfriend is punching him. And after a while, the two guys who were originally fighting are sitting on the sidelines sharing stories about their kids and their spouses and even sharing food. And eventually they say, "Well, we should get back at it. These two were nice to give us a break." So they go back to fighting each other. And man and woman, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever, grab hands again and walk away. And the guy says, "This is what I love about her. She knows how this world works. Lousy. And the way she fights it is etiquette."
So how do you interpret all that? What is your summary?
Our civilization stinks. And how do you deal with it?
That like she almost played the game? Is that how you take that?
Well, I don't take it as it really given any type of judgment at all, other than our civilization is in trouble.
Yeah.
Because what we can interpret as kindness is nothing more than you're a surrogate for other violence.
Like it's kindness to keep being violent.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that
So-
concept seems crazy in a poem, but it's kind of saying this is what we do. as a
Now, is
society.
that too convoluted for music? That idea, not necessarily the exact words or anything like that, but is that too convoluted an idea to express in music, especially in today's popular music?
In today's popular music, absolutely. Because
Yeah.
people don't want to think.
They don't want to.
People don't want to.
What do they want?
A distraction. I think they want to. I think they want to not feel.
Not feel.
I think it's a combination of some don't want to feel when they listen to music, and then some really want to feel. But I think that might be too real of a concept for popular music. I think, like I said, like someone like Paul Simon or more of an artist, like a singer songwriter, that would do really well. But if we're talking like like top of the charts and stuff,
No.
it's not formulaic enough. And I think.
So
So I think I would be a great. My answer is I would be a great song topic because it's so. I've never heard a song about that, and you're putting
So-
some inspiration in me.
people don't want to be disturbed by popular music today. They don't want to be taken out of their comfort zone.
Yeah, I don't think they do, and I think back in the day, obviously I didn't live through the '60s, but I think that was the difference. Is people did, like the Beatles, for example. It was nobody had heard anything like it. We don't get that as much with music, and maybe it's just because maybe we just have run out of ideas because now we're just repeating. Like now it's like '90s music is back, being popular with what people are making and sound and acoustic and stuff, and now we just kind of, which is good because like the 2010s was a lot of electronic stuff and stuff that hasn't aged very well, and now we've kind of reset. Like we've talked about Billie Eilish, like
Yeah.
someone who's very talented, and she kind of incorporates all those elements. So I think people obviously listen to music for different reasons, but I think the popular stuff, because it's all about social media too. So songs get popular off of social media, of a sound or a couple seconds of it, and That's too complex. That requires a lot of thinking. It doesn't feel good right away.
Is it uncomfortable to like something in popular music that all your friends dislike? Is that a difficult thing?
No, because that's the story of my musical taste.
Oh,
In a lot of ways. I'm proud though that there's a lot of things I'm into that I've gotten my friends into, and maybe it's just because they want to shut me up. Gabe knows this.
well, one question I know that I submitted to you
Yeah.
was, I know that you like, that you appreciate, that you value Paul Simon and Jacob Collier and Stevie Wonder,
Yeah.
and there was one other I can't think of now who it was. But anyway, the question was, who do you admire in pop music today, other than those old timers,
In pop music today.
other than Billie Eilish and Jacob Collier? Who do you admire?
Yeah. I don't know if you'll know any of these names, but I'm just gonna say them.
Okay, tell me one.
Just say them. Someone else I'm a fan of is 21 Pilots.
21 Pilots?
Yeah, they're kind of they're kind of genreless too. They had a really massive song that a lot of people my age would know, but they're very poetic in their lyrics, and they kind of have this whole world. They've created the story they're telling. The brief summary is just that it's about mental health and mental illness or depression, and talking about trying to get out of that and find healing. But it's this whole world of characters and stuff. So they're songs anybody can listen to and enjoy them. But then if you're a super fan or you get into it, you can uncover kind of we're talking about the lyrics of there's a whole other world of layers beneath that. So I'd say them.
How many in that group?
Two. They're from Columbus, Ohio. Yeah.
What instrumentation?
The lead singer was just bass and piano, but then he learned guitar recently, got pretty good, and then a drummer who plays the trumpet.
Do they have additional musicians for their...
When they would tour, they went on a tour, they had some additional ones, but now they're back to the two of them. I'm actually seeing them in September at Tinley Park.
At where?
Tinley Park.
Oh, that's an outdoor, isn't it?
Yeah. So I would say them. Another big one recently for me has been John Bellion.
John
Bellion,
Bellion?
yes. He actually got big for writing for a lot of massive artists. A lot of songs in the past decade that were massive pop hits. He was writing at 19 for these people. He's been big about promoting being independent as an artist and not signing to a record label because he got screwed by his record label, and realized that the $1 million advance they give you, they expect you to pay back in sales. So he's like, I don't need the label. So he quit music for 6 years because he did his last show and then paid his way out of the contract, which was very expensive, obviously, and was like, what's the point in doing it? It's just, I've lost the joy for it. So he actually just came back, though, this year with an album called Father Figure, because he had 3 kids in that time off. And so the whole goal of that album was to be a North Star and make being a dad cool and being a present dad, make that popular because people don't talk about that. So,
How did you find these people?
lots of different ways. I mean, from other people. I mean, the internet is a big help, obviously. But yeah, there's a lot of popular people I respect. Justin Bieber, I know you know him.
Yeah.
He's another one I respect. He came out with a new album. His first album that was his full creative control. He fired his longtime manager and got full say on the music. It was very, very 90s sounding.
Was he like a wonder kid at first?
He was, yeah. I mean, people were obsessed with him, and he was going to be the next big thing. And he never really put together a good body of work, though, because it was so commercial. And it's funny when you try to be commercial, nobody likes it. But
That surprises me.
what do you mean?
Justin Bieber. I mean, I thought he
Yeah.
was kind of like a bubblegummy.
Yeah, I thought that too. But a lot of these people, the ones who actually have talent, the more I research about them, and not research, but just look into them and follow their journey and learn about them. Like Justin Bieber he's a great vocalist. He can sing. And it showed when he had creative control on this album that he's a great writer as well and can put together.
Are you attracted at all to just not singers but musicians, instrumentalists? Like I know there's a young girl from California. I don't know if her name is Brummel or something. But she's 19 years old. Have you heard of her? Her last name starts with a B. She's played with a lot of big names. She's a guitarist.
Yeah, I haven't I haven't heard of her.
No.
Instrumental music is interesting to me. And that's kind of where I got my start with my first couple albums. They were all instrumental, mostly because I was insecure to use my voice and didn't really know what I would do. But yeah, I think not a lot of people listen to it. I think people my age put it in the background for like study music or just like in ambient setting. But
Can you tell the difference in one hearing whether it's authentic instruments or if it's, I don't know what you call it, computer
programmed?
generated? Yeah.
No, and especially in today's age, because people can load things into their keyboard of like real drum sounds and play it. There are some things, I think when I hear like a real drum sound and you can literally hear the echo of the snare, the sticks being set down, or the literal, fingers sliding up the fretboard.
Yeah.
And I think for people like me who like, probably you too, appreciate that type of stuff. It's special of like, oh, they're actually live playing it. But then I always think, well, then who cares? For the casual fan, if it sounds good, if it sounds real, it's the vibe they're going for.
Yeah. The sweat seems to be an element that's important. If you know the artist is sweating, working. The Bruce Springsteen effect.
Yes, and I think it's a dying art that people
Yeah.
don't appreciate as much. But I mean, even just with this is a side note, but with Spotify, their CEO is big in promoting AI music, and has used a lot of their like funding to promote these bands on, like, they create their own bands on Spotify that aren't real. It's all programmed, and they're obviously AI, and they have like millions of plays. So they're paying themselves.
Wow.
And they're promoting what I don't consider real art, because they just programmed it. It's not even real. So there's been Spotify's been under a lot of fire recently. People saying to boycott it because they don't pay their artists well either, and they don't really give their artists a good platform. They're kind of they're not very helpful towards that, and so a lot of musicians have tried to start things of like, don't use them, but they're so massive.
Do you think your dad's tastes have influenced you?
Yeah, 100%. I'd say both my mom and dad's.
How are your mom's interests different than your dad's?
Musically?
Tastes. How are their
Musically?
tastes different? Yeah.
I'll start with where they're similar. They're both very melodic with the things they, I guess, showed me growing up. Melody was important. Where my mom's different is because she is an English professor, lyrics were important to her. My dad is terrible at remembering lyrics. If he'll sing a song, it'll just be, ah, 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 and like he can't even tell you the words. So that was definitely something that was different. My mom is much more of the kind of classic rock stuff she grew up on, like 70s and 80s, and my dad likes all that too, but he'll go more into the Jacob Collier side of things, or the funk stuff. Or
Yeah. How do you react to that? What's that? Wolfman?
Wolfpack? Oh, I love Wolfpack.
You do?
Yeah.
Corey Wong?
Yeah, I love that. That's an example of like that instrumental stuff. I can listen to that easily. Yeah, I think like the instrumental funk, that kind of out there stuff is more interesting than a lot of modern music today. Not to be that guy who's like everything sucks, but I think there's more personality to it. It's the same thing with even like jazz. When me and my dad would talk about jazz, like if there's two instruments soloing, the way we hear music very similarly is it sounds like the instruments are talking in a lot of ways. Like if you've got a saxophone and a trumpet, it's just a conversation, and that's why I feel like music really is a language, like Stevie Wonder says in a lot of ways. But for my mom, though, I think melody and catchiness, because there's a lot of stuff me and my dad like that is very theory-wise goes against the grain, and so it wouldn't be like big on the radio because it's very different, like Jacob Collier stuff. But for my mom, I think she really cemented in my brain like the stuff of like, this is what's catchy, this is what makes a good melody. So I think, yeah, that definitely really helped me as I write my own stuff of like why melody is the first thing I'm always drawn to.
Have you ever given bluegrass a listen?
Yeah, a little bit.
Do you like it?
There's been some interesting like bluegrass like fusion stuff.
Billy Strings?
I know of him. Yeah, but it's like that's like a whole different world to me of sound and stuff. And
I saw, he was brought up because his dad was a bluegrass musician, and so he just grew up with it.
yeah,
But I saw him interviewed. I forget what the thing is on YouTube. It's an older guy who always interviews people,
yeah,
gray-haired guy. But I found it interesting that Billy Strings is considered one of the best flat picker guitarists in the world, and yet his desire is to know more music theory. He
Really?
said when he's played with musicians like Bela Fleck,
Yeah.
he said, I feel so inadequate.
Was he with Bela Fleck?
Oh no, never with them.
But he
He's
played
done
with
a
him.
duet with them.
I was gonna say because Bela Fleck is somebody
Yeah.
that I was familiar with.
And Billy Strings has done it with Corey Wong too.
But that's
And even with Corey Wong, he said he felt inadequate.
really
Because Corey Wong is talking about these chords, and Billy Strings said, I'd never heard of these chords.
right. But that's the thing. Even with you saying that, like these people are so niche, and like so like not to discredit the people listening to this, but I guarantee a lot of these names are like who, like because they're very not mainstream, and I think that's an advantage of music today. And with like Spotify's, you can find so many new artists.
So that leads me to my number one question. I got to number one.
Got to
After
number one.
only about an hour and a half. Can music be genreless?
It really depends how you. It depends.
It doesn't fit into any cubbyhole.
I'll play both sides. Yes, there can be a song that's genreless, and I think you can use that term broadly. But I would to play the other side. I would say something that is genreless could also just be pulling from a bunch of genres. Because I feel like in any song I've heard, I can say that's very alternative sounding. That sounds like indie. That sounds like hip hop elements. You know, if you take a Jacob Collier song, every one of the songs you can say, while they're very different, you can say this is more indie influenced.
Okay, I get that. Do you ever feel that Jacob Collier is too intricate for your ears? Like I'm thinking of that one he does with a black gospel group. He doesn't
World
sing
on
in it.
World?
Yeah.
Yeah, the last one.
Do
No.
you get lost in that?
His early stuff, he was much more jazz focused and like arrangement, and a lot of that I'd be like, oh, I'm losing the feeling I feel with his music, and more of hearing what a lot of the people who don't like his music say of, they're like, it's just all theory based, which he gets a lot of hate, and I don't understand how they're like, I don't feel anything when I listen to his music. I don't understand that. That song in particular, that last song on his album, to me, that's what stimulates my brain, and maybe it's because I process things quickly, but because there's so many different harmonies going on, and even though it's just an a cappella, sounds like it could be from the 1800s, 1700s, it's interesting enough to me. There's enough going on.
You know, when I watch that video on YouTube,
Yeah.
the only person who has music is a director.
The choir doesn't
conductor.
have,
They don't have any music.
that's talent.
Now,
Yeah.
this sounds, I hate to even say this because I sound like I'm, what do you call it, stereotyping.
Mm-hmm.
But is that indigenous to the black race?
Being able to do it without
That
music?
feel it? They just feel it? They don't need the printed music to tell them when to come in? Or
I think that, I get what you're saying, because I feel like black music as a whole is much more feel based, which is why like Motown and things like that, white people started loving it. People of all races started loving it because they feel. And I think that was definitely made popular by that sound. You know, whether it's blues or jazz elements or Motown stuff like that. It's the feel. I mean, those imprints that type of music has left is everywhere in popular music of feel and like groove specifically. You know, yeah, I think so.
so, if you had to put them in order, lyrics, melody, rhythm, or rhyme, what is predominant in your head when you're trying to create something? Lyrics, melody, rhythm, or rhyme?
Melody first.
Is that melody, you mean something you can hum?
Yeah, like the melodic nature of the instrumentation and the vocals. What were the other ones? Lyric, rhythm, rhyme. Rhythm is in like the beat or the way it moves. Is that
Yeah,
a fair
the
way to
way
say
it moves.
I'd say then rhythm. I would say
Second, rhythm?
yes, because there's so many songs I like that if the melody is there and the rhythm is there, but the lyrics are just kind of stupid, it doesn't matter. I think
So they could be nonsense lyrics.
right, and it's the same. This is my issue with Dylan.
Yeah.
If it's great lyrics, I appreciate like that's poetic, but it's I'm like, dude, you lost me. So yeah, that's my order. I definitely go melody, rhythm, probably then lyrics, and then rhyme. Because like Paul Simon won't rhyme sometimes.
No.
There's a lot of people who won't rhyme, but the lyrics are really good.
Or
And
he's got a lot of indirect rhymes.
right, and I hear a lot of people then who try to just like do dumb rhymes like cat and bat, and it's just so expectant. It's like that takes away from the lyrics. So yeah, I would go melody, rhythm, lyrics, rhyme, 100%.
If you had to do it in the opposite order, just as a challenge, could you do it?
Write a song for
Yeah, in the opposite order that you just expressed.
that. When I would dabble in rap music, I feel like I kind of did. It was rhyme, because hip hop and rap is based a lot on rhyming, and then lyrics. That was another thing why I didn't like enjoy rapping as much. I felt like such more of a pressure on my lyrics, and I felt a little bit of an imposter syndrome of like I don't feel like a rapper because that's such a different sub genre of people and just lifestyle too. I know anybody and everybody raps these days, but I just felt like I wanted to do more. And not that rappers aren't talented, because I do love rap, but
What about the freestyling rapping?
that's
Is
crazy
that a separate
impressive.
talent?
Yeah, I think those are the people who can really do it. I mean, there's a lot of rap that's popular nowadays. It's the vibe of it. It's not the lyrics, and it's just the soundscape it creates, which I struggle more with that. When I listen to rap, it's big on rhythm, of course, like the beat and what they're saying and the tone. But yeah, when I would rap, it would mostly be rhythm and lyrics first, and then the rhythm, and then as I added melody to it, the melody would kind of be the last part. But yeah.
Are you trying at all to shed the Christian connotation?
Shed it?
Yeah, because I noticed the word indie.
Indie in what?
Something with your album. Or it was
Like describing it?
Yeah.
I don't
And I
think
didn't see the word Christian.
I think what I'm trying to do is, it's a good question. I think early on, like when I first started, it was I am a Christian rapper, was like the subgenre I wanted to go into, because I listened to a lot of that. Like that's the niche I'm going to go into. And I think then as I started making music, I didn't want to like just put myself in a box where I'm just talking
Don't
about
you think
that.
you
or just-
alienate a large group?
I think you do, and I also didn't want to just have the expectation of you just have to talk about your faith every song. And obviously, I still am a Christian and still have all those same values and faith. But for me, I think my goal changed. I realized I could still reach people in different ways, but I've also kept it open that if I ever wanted to do like a worship song or something like that, like in the worship genre, that I would. But
Like Dylan.
it's like Dylan. That's why I've tried to keep it like with this album. I didn't want to try to appeal to the Christian music genre and be like, oh, it's because it's not. I mean, it's not like, of course, my faith plays. There's even lines on this album. Not a lot of people know. There's a second verse of a song where it's inspired literally by someone who grew up a Christian and is doubting their faith, but just keeps on believing that's what they've always known. That's like something that could go its whole long way. But it's just for a brief second I talk about it, but it's not explicitly Christian. And so I feel like it'd be phony or fake to try to market it like it was Christian, because it's not.
How do you react to this? In a musical sense, people really don't want to know about your faith.
How do I react to that?
Yeah.
Depends on the person, because there's like a rise of Christian music as a whole. I don't know if you've heard of like Forrest Frank. He's massive right now. He's got like the #1 song on multiple charts, and it's explicitly Christian. And I think a lot of it is because all the studies have shown that people in my generation, the Gen Z, are searching spiritually a lot, and so a lot of it just comes down to what I feel called or led to do. Because I actually I've beaten myself up a lot of like, you need to be more explicitly Christian in your stuff, and I felt like, well, I feel like in a lot of ways there's another group of people you can reach just from writing about my own experiences, because it's not like I'm writing about a lifestyle I'm not living, or I'm being anti-God in my lyrics. It's just my thoughts, my emotions, and my processing. Like you said, you do alienate more people when you do it, when you are explicitly Christian, and I think that there's great things about that. And I think with every artist, whatever they choose to do, if they are, I'm talking about Christian artists who choose to make more secular music or make it explicitly Christian, there's no right or wrong in it. And I think a lot of times audiences will try to box people in.
Could you write spiritual music that's not necessarily Christian? Or are they synonymous for you?
I think you can. I think I could definitely write a song that incorporates my faith. I mean, I have done this, and I think people who know me would be like, oh, he's talking about God and his belief in Jesus. But I think then for the average listener, it'd be like, oh, he's just on some spiritual stuff, you know? So I think it really depends on, that's just interpretation too, you know? So
Would you say, somebody outside of music, I'm thinking of the comedian Jim Gaffigan.
yeah.
Has he ventured out of the Christian comic, Christian stand-up? Is he out of that now?
I don't think he was ever in that. Christian comic?
I thought that's what he was.
I think he was family-friendly comedian. That's how I always
family
interpret
friendly.
it, yeah, of like all ages show.
Okay.
I think that's I think that can be, I'm just thinking about in music, if someone who is a Christian artist and tries to make other music, they'll get backlash of like, why aren't you talking about God? Which I think there's issue in that. And then I think then people will also get mad of someone who's not at like Kanye, for example. And
Now, you went to see one of your dad's favorite groups, didn't you? King's X?
yeah,
They're predominantly Christian, right?
they're different. They were, a lot of them I think fell away from their faith, and they were marketed early on as a Christian rock band, but again, they had lyrics about their faith because that's who they were, but they weren't, again, making worship music or church music. And so I think that kind of pushed their sound away too, to show like we're not being a worship band. So
Are they heavy metal?
they're a little bit of everything. They have some more stuff that's metal, but they're a really heavy version of the Beatles.
Really?
Yeah. Did you ever listen to them?
Not really.
You should. I think
They were always too loud for me.
Yeah, they all grew up loving the Beatles, so that's why I got into them too.
Here's a question that probably doesn't have an answer. Does the visual play a part in music? Or is that just an added dimension or added distraction or an embellishment? Or does it play a vital role in music? What you can visualize?
What you can visualize or the visuals the artist presents? Like both?
Well, no, I would say what you can visualize.
What you can visualize? I think, of course. I don't know. I only know my experience, but when I hear music, I don't know. I think songs kind of will feel like colors or moods or seasons. And for me, I always associate the songs in the season I was listening to them in. Like I've told you, it'll be harder for me to, if I was going through a rough patch and listen to a song I'm highly in tune in that way of like, oh, this makes me sad because I was in this stage and almost to a fault.
Can you force yourself to write a song?
Yes. And I think that's one skill enough artists don't use. Because I think a lot of people will just say, well, I'm just waiting for inspiration and stuff like that. And some people won't get inspired again until they die. I think inspiration's always there. And I think, not to be that guy who's always anti-phones, but I think a lot of it's because we're so distracted with phones and people are always just scrolling and distracting themselves with everything. I don't think we allowed ourselves to be bored enough to let creativity inspire. Because I think if you're bored enough, you are going to feel creative. It's like if you don't want to clean your room, you just keep scrolling on your phone. Once you put your phone down and like can't use it, well, I'm going to clean my room because you're bored. You're going to do something. So I noticed that when I allow myself to be bored or not be scrolling, creativity strikes. There's always something to write. There's always, at least in my brain, and maybe I'm different, but something's always interesting me. There's always something to process. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
Well, I have found out, I consider myself a Luddite. I'm still in the 20th century. I don't know if I'll ever get out of it. But I find myself, I would never say that I was bored earlier in my life. I never
Really?
felt bored. But ever since the tablet and my iPhone, there are periods where I feel bored.
We weren't created for it. That's the thing.
Yeah, I guess so.
So you're saying post having devices and stuff, you feel bored.
Yeah,
But growing up, like when you were my age, you were never bored.
never bored. I always found something to do or something that interested me that took time. It took learning.
I think our brains were healthier too, because I'm sure you could wait in a line and not be bored. right?
Yeah.
And now if you go into any store,
Everything's got to be immediate.
well, everybody's on their phone. We have to distract ourselves because we
that-
can't be alone with our thoughts.
Yeah. I mean, even walking the dog, people
Yeah.
can't be off their phone.
No, it's scary. I mean, there's a reason the Silicon Valley people who create the phones, they don't let their kids have phones. Why is that?
I always want to say, pay attention to your dog.
Yeah. Or the people who go out to restaurants with their kids and the adults are on their phones. I've witnessed that many times. I'll go out to eat somewhere and there's like a dad and his son, and the son's like talking to him. Like these are like their vital years. I think just having a son in general. I wouldn't know, but I'm just thinking, as I think about eventually being a dad one day, I'm like, I don't want to miss a thing. You know what I mean? Like I want to see all of it. I've thought, and this is kind of silly. I'm just like, I don't even want to go to work. I don't want to miss them, like walking or talking and stuff like that. But especially those little moments, and maybe it's just me romanticizing my life, but like I'll see just a dad just scrolling on Facebook, and the kid is saying, what isn't interesting to dad, but it's interesting to me. I can hear him. He's like, well, Dad, what about like asking these questions? Like these are the developing years and you're just going to scroll. Like no one has ever, just scrolling in general, doom scrolling as our generation calls it, because you don't get anywhere. You never are on your phone just messing around scrolling for hours, minutes, whatever, and think, I feel better
You're
after
right.
that, right? You never got like, you're always like more tired.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
yeah, you're
never-
right. Or more depressed.
it makes things worse.
Yeah, you're
So-
right. Yeah, they're not spirit lifting at all.
No.
They're spirit crushing.
And it's just a distraction. You don't have to think for a second.
Yeah. Okay, we talked about your dad's influence, your mom's influence. You're close to your brother. Mm-hmm. Has he been any influence in your musical taste?
I was going to bring that up. It's funny because musically he definitely has been, I think, with the like rap.
Really?
And that he was really into that. With King's X, that band, that's where me, my dad, and my brother all intersect for a second musically. My brother was also a big 21 Pilots fan, so we kind of go off, and my dad enjoys them, but me and my brother kind of go into that direction. Then me and my dad both really like Jacob Collier, and then my dad and brother both appreciate like metal stuff, more heavier stuff, and so we all kind of have these subgenres we go into. But yeah, he's definitely influenced me with that.
Does your brother enjoy playing drums?
He does. He plays at church most Sundays.
Did he just learn from your dad, or did he take lessons, or what?
We both took lessons for a little bit. I don't know if you remember that. We were both taking lessons, and then I'm sure my dad's taught him some stuff. I think he just learned. Drumming is one of those things you can just learn by playing the songs. And of course, my dad is a drummer. He claims that's his favorite instrument to play too, since he plays a lot. But he says drums are his favorite. My dad, that is.
Really?
Yeah, but my brother, he's gotten really good.
Does your dad ever take out a guitar and play?
So I always tease him that he hates music now because he never does it or anything, just because he's just in a different season of his life. But obviously he doesn't hate it, and he'll laugh when I say that. But he actually just recently, when we were in the Poconos.
I saw that. He sent me a picture
Of what?
of him playing the guitar.
He brought it out because my uncle plays the guitar and my oldest cousin plays drums and the other cousin plays bass, and
Any good?
yeah, they're good. And so it was cool to we hadn't really all bonded over that, and we were just playing some songs, and then I had of course, because I never stopped trying to be inspired, I was like, what if we did some of my new songs from this album, like an acoustic live unplugged? So I didn't tell you this yet, but we actually, while we were up there, did like a live and unplugged rendition of three of my songs, and ran through it and used this technology that my uncle, I don't know what's called, it filmed you, but then also picked up the audio really well too. And so yeah, we filmed 3 of the songs, and I'm calling it Darling from the Living Room. It's just kind of an intimate reimagining of those songs. So those will come out after the album. And I have like
Wow.
whole videos for those of us playing and singing, and Morgan does harmony on one of them. So I'm excited about those.
Can
And
Morgan
that's-
do harmony just out of her head?
Yeah, she'll say, oh, I'm not that good, and she always sells herself short, but she is an amazing singer. She's got a great voice.
Do you ever remember your dad taking guitar lessons?
Lessons? No, he was proficient by the time
He just picked
I was
it up.
conscious. Yeah.
Because when he was 18 years old, he never played guitar.
Right. I think it was before I was born, but after he had moved out and stuff. But yeah, it was cool getting him to be able to play again because my uncle plays guitar. So they were both playing different like melodies, and then we had a bass line and just like some percussion, and then Morgan's harmony and my main vocal. What's cool about that is this generation, like my generation, really appreciates the aesthetic of things, how that comes off in like raw, kind of that unplugged vibe, and it's like kind of cool to, I don't know, if things kind of sound like they were recorded on a voice memo, like that's very that's intriguing to a lot of people, and so kind of the low quality stuff people enjoy. So I'm excited to see what people.
Did
think
your
of that.
dad ever talk about Hit and Run?
No, Hit and Run.
Never? That was his group.
Hit and Run with Bill.
Bill was a bass player.
Oh, that was the name. Okay, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
we saw them in Florida, and they relived some memories. I didn't know it was called Hit and Run though. They did covers. Yeah,
They used to practice in our basement.
they were sharing some stories about you. I can't remember them now, but sounded like
The
you.
funniest story was, I remember one day or one night they were down there practicing, and all of a sudden I heard this unusual sound. It wasn't any instrument dropping or wasn't feedback. It was just an unusual sound. This was on Spencer Street, which you were never in.
Right.
But Bill's bass broke in two.
It broke.
The neck snapped off of the body of the guitar. And it was funny because Bill was a funny kid.
Yeah,
And I thought, this is only something that would happen to Bill Weigel.
that is. Bass just snaps.
Yeah, anyway, that's neither here nor there. But your dad's group was good. I really enjoyed listening to them practice.
Yeah,
Robert Palmer.
that's what they
Addicted to
covered.
Love.
Yeah, he would disagree because Bill had some of the early recordings and was like, "Listen to us," and my dad was like, "Stop," because he gets self-conscious about all that.
Well, you get that trait. You picked that trait up from your dad, that perfectionist thing.
The perfectionist, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's been interesting. I've tried to not, because I can be very perfectionistic. I've done a good job not doing that with my music, but it can be like tinkering on things, but it can be hard to not go the opposite way. Just like, okay, it's done. But I heard somebody say once the song evokes emotion, like out of you or out of someone else, it's done. Like I had a song I played for, it was either my mom or Morgan, and like one of them got emotional, and I was like, it's not done. And then they got emotional, like, nope, don't touch it. Because sometimes then by over tinkering,
Yeah,
you ruin it. And then it's the question, is art ever truly done?
yeah.
Which that's a big one.
Let me see. How do you feel about harmony? There's not a lot of harmony in your album, is there?
There's more than there has been. I use it. I think I didn't want to overuse it and put it in like every song. I wanted it to be kind of a treat. There's multiple songs with it. I kind of like to do I guess it's still considered harmony when it's an octave, but I like to do that. And I mixed it differently on this album because I mixed and mastered it, of making the harmony quieter or just doing a low end voice. Because for some songs, there's been some songs where I was like, oh, harmony would sound cooler, but it was a little too forced. So it's cooler if I just did a lower octave.
Do you think harmony is kind of out of, what do you call your generation?
Gen Z?
Yeah. Do you feel that the harmony has been kind of discarded in pop music now?
Yes and no. I think it changes. I don't hear people ever talk about this, but I think it's changed in the way it's mixed with the vocals. A lot of people, because I'll like kind of study the songs I'm hearing of like, why does this work? And a lot of the people have the harmony. It's really quiet or it's really light in the background as opposed to like a Beatles song, or it's like those are equal. I've noticed that even in my dad's opinion, while he has opinion on stuff, he's like, turn up the harmony, and I will. And I'll play it for like someone, like even like Morgan, for example, and be like, that's too loud. And it's like just the different ears of like the different preferences. So I kind of found a sweet spot where it's like, oh, you can hear it, but it's not as loud as the lead.
Have you ever listened to maybe a group and they do a harmony that just about sends chills up your spine?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I mean, Beatles, all my favorite artists, Jacob. Yeah. And it's funny because there's some people who aren't like musically, they can't describe what they like about it, but yeah, since my dad is very theory based, he's always like, oh, they put the major seventh there. I'm like, I go off a feel. So yeah, for sure. I think that's the power of music, right?
I guess, yeah. I can remember how excited your dad was when Take Six came on the scene.
Yeah.
Because there was nothing like that before.
Right. I mean, there's lots of modern pop artists like Billie Eilish, lots of harmony in her stuff.
Yeah.
But
How much does volume play in creating the song? Is that a consideration, or is that an afterthought later? After the
Volume.
song's written?
Like how loud it is?
Yeah.
Pause before you answer to let you know we're on 14%, so you probably got like 10, 15 minutes.
Yikes. Okay.
Okay.
Just
We're
hold-
almost done?
Just
Is that-
hold up a 5 once we're down at like 5. And we can start wrapping up. Do you ask
so-
should we ask the question again?
Yeah.
So we have 9 minutes? Is that what you're saying? 9 minutes?
About. He'll hold up a 5 and we can start like wrapping
Okay.
up.
Well, I can start talking a lot faster.
You can just re-ask it.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna bypass that question.
Okay.
I want to ask you this. Would you call yourself old school?
Yeah.
Why?
In a lot of ways. I would say music taste, primarily. The way I like to consume music, obviously, with being a vinyl enthusiast, that I consider that old school.
Do you think your major influences are old school?
I think it's a really interesting like juxtaposition, because I hear so much like 70s, 60s, 80s stuff. And then in a lot of ways, it's funny. Then I'll make a more modern sounding stuff with the modern artists I'm influenced by. And this is that's another way to explain the difference between my mom and dad and my brother is my mom and dad will appreciate the more like 70s sounding stuff. And even like just people in their generation, they'll be like, oh yeah, I like that. And then they'll be, like my brother, I'll do a more modern thing and it's hooky in a modern way. And he appreciates that. And my parents won't like that as much as the other stuff, but I would say it's equal. I think definitely I probably relate more to older music, but
Do you prefer the female voice or the male voice when you're listening?
I probably listen to more male stuff, but that's not because I think female voices aren't as good. I think they're just different. I think I probably listen to more male lead stuff, but I mean like someone like Whitney Houston or who I think is the greatest female vocalist of all time is Tori Kelly, in my opinion. I think, of course, I could listen
What
to them
did
all
she
day.
do before Jacob?
What's
Is she a
funny?
solo?
Yeah, what's funny is she actually got her start in like the Christian music industry.
Really?
She's an example of she was like more like Christian pop and she didn't like walk away from her faith or anything, but she just went more mainstream, which again it upsets the Christian audience. Like you need to talk about God on every song, but she just felt more called in a different direction and started doing this stuff with like Jacob.
Did he find her? Well,
I think
of course.
they both knew of each other. I mean,
They did.
she's popular too. She's actually that John Bellion guy I mentioned. She's like signed to his label he started.
Oh.
And he like wrote half of her last album with her. So yeah, but Jacob just finds everybody, talent-wise.
Or they seek him out, maybe?
They seek him. Yeah, I mean that was his whole goal with this whole.
You know, I watched something on YouTube where he was, it was his Asian tour.
Yeah,
He just concluded, I believe.
just finished Asia. Yeah,
And he was introducing his musicians.
yeah.
People I'd never heard of. Had
No,
you heard
that's-
of those people?
No, and I think they were the same ones when I saw him on tour last year. And it's crazy. It's like Jacob gets all the love because that's his name. It's his name on the tour. But as I told you after I saw him live, his musicians were incredible. Like I mean, people understand they're like top tier musicians.
Yeah,
So, and
I was especially noticing he was describing his lead guitarist, some English guy.
yeah.
He looked like he was in his 40s.
Ben something.
Yeah.
I think Ben. Yeah.
I wonder, who is this guy here?
And how did he find him?
Yeah, how did he find
I think
him?
Jacob knows everybody though.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Why do you think he did the Asian tour?
Because he's big worldwide. I think a lot of people don't get that luxury he has of like his music is beloved around the world.
You think any of it was due to just his curiosity?
Of wanting to go there.
He's curious about everything.
Maybe, but I think he also is a businessman too, and he can't lose money. You know, he's trying. I think he makes definitely the most of his money on tours because
yeah.
he's such a great live performer. But I think there's just enough of an appeal for him. He's not. Most artists can only do like the United States if they're lucky, or like maybe go over to Europe. But he's such a, he's not mainstream because he's still kind of not known, but he can go around the world. So it's weird. I mean, that whole like I told you when I went and saw him live, it was all musicians in the audience. I loved it. It wasn't annoying fans screaming words. They all just kind of sat politely and were like, oh yeah. There's a piano solo. It's dead silent. It was outdoors. You hear the crickets. I was like, this is a concert. Because in my opinion, it's like they respected the artist enough to just listen, as opposed to just screaming because he's there. But
So he solos on the piano and he solos on the guitar.
and he pulled out the bass at one point. He did a whole percussion thing too. He did like a.
Do you think his voice has changed as
Yeah.
he's gotten older?
Definitely, he was a lot more in the back of his voice early on, but
Yeah.
I think he's gotten more polished because a lot of people don't like his voice.
So what's the main reason that you enjoy him so much?
I think it's just because a lot of modern music can bore me or not. It can just be so cookie cutter, and he's so not cookie cutter. And early on, like I said, I think he wanted to just make crazy theory-driven things of like put this and this, and you don't necessarily feel anything. Like I said, he gets a lot of hatred because people say they don't feel anything when they listen to his music. But I think because it's so layered and different,
Do you think you're more involved in music because of him?
I wouldn't say just him specifically. I'd say all the people I grew up listening to, like the Beatles and all that. Of like, I was just telling somebody I can't. Some people treat music as just like movies or food or just something you do. Of like, oh, there's music in the background. It's never been that for me. Like I can't imagine like that ever being the case with music. Of just like, oh, it's just something in the background. Like it's always been a bigger deal. Like it represents so much more. Like songs are something you can. I heard somebody say songs are something you can crawl into.
Do you think music should be taught in elementary school?
Like more than it already is.
I don't know. How is it taught now? I don't
mean,
even know.
I think I had to take music. Like, you go to a music class and learn to sing. I mean, you don't want to force something on somebody, but I think they do a good job of, at least in general, as considering all schools, that they just teach you the basics and just giving kids the opportunity to see if it like sticks out to them. You know,
Should it be required in high school?
required.
Required. You got to take a music course. It could be theory. It could be learning an instrument.
I mean, I want to say yes because I love it, but then if someone's like, "We're going to require you to draw in high school," something I hate, I'd be like, "This is so stupid. I don't want to draw." And I would take, if I was forced to take drawing classes, I would still leave high school not wanting to draw. But with music, because I love it, I'm like, yes, you should have to, but I don't think so.
You don't think it should be required?
No, because I think people will figure it out if they want to do it and decide if they want to.
Okay.
Anything else you want to wrap up with?
Well, let's see. Let's wrap up with a real dynamite question.
Real dynamite.
What's your earliest musical memory? You
One of them-
mentioned about the preschool nap
Oh,
time.
yes, the preschool nap time. I also remember being in around that age and hearing Love Me Do, what we quoted at the beginning of this conversation, of hearing it in the car, driving to 5 Points, actually. Isn't that funny? Two of my passions of basketball
Yeah.
and music. Driving to 5 Points and hearing the harmonica, and that, for some reason, my little brain was like, what is this? There's a couple others, like Ring of Fire by Johnny Cash is another random one.
Really?
The horns. My mom played that, and it was like, I think it was, because it kind of feels Latin influenced a little bit. I was like, what? This is different, and his voice is so distinct.
Yeah.
There's another, this is funny. You know the Kelly Clarkson song, Since You've Been Gone?
Yeah.
So I don't know why. I remember I had to be like 2 or 3. Like there's some device I think you can use on a kid if they have a ton of snot, right? And you can like stick up their nose. I remember
yeah.
it would hurt. And my parents doing that to me because I guess I had like some sort of infection. And I remember I don't think they were playing Since You've Been Gone, but I remember the song just blaring in my head like Since You've Been Gone, as I'm just like as they're clearing my nose. That's really random, and maybe I made that up. But that's
No,
probably
you didn't make it up, because I remember them holding you down.
You remember them doing that? So I don't know.
Yes.
Maybe I'd heard that song
Yeah.
before and it was in my head, which I don't know if songs can get stuck in a 2 or 3-year-old's head, but I remember that. But my earliest memory ever was laying in my crib and I had, Veggie Tales? I had Bob the
Yes,
Tomato and Larry the
yes.
Cucumber, like plushies by me. And I remember I had to be like 2, knocking one over. And it's weird. I can remember, this sounds weird. No one's going to believe it. I remember not being conscious yet. You know what I mean? Like you when you're 2, you don't know. I remember just like kind of just being there. Like you can't remember what you're thinking like I can now. But I remember, anyways, knocking over Larry the Cucumber out of my crib. And I just remember looking out at him out of my crib and reaching for him and not being able to reach him. I was just like, oh, that's my earliest memory.
Wow. The Veggie Tales. I forgot all about
Veggie
those
Tales.
guys.
Legendary.
Are they still around?
I think they still make stuff. It's not as iconic as it used to be, like when I was before my time and growing up. But
Was that PBS?
no, I don't. Maybe it was through PBS. I don't think it was though.
Oh.
But yeah,
Well, I thought that last question would be more dynamic, but
you got a quick extra one.
quick extra one.
I want to
Let
hear.
me-
I want to hear you. What is? I want to hear.
You want to hear me sing?
I want to hear you sing.
Oh,
Yeah, no,
no.
I wanted to hear your.
I got the banjo,
that could be the next one.
but I haven't had a recent tetanus shot. I'd be worried. I'm looking over at our technical advisor,
We
Mr.
got time?
Gabe.
We're at 4.
4? I can
Last-
give a response in 4 minutes.
Last question. Yeah, I guess your thoughts as you watched my musical and progression, and just as a human, or what you thought of the new album, or all above all
Okay.
those things.
I have seen, I guess my biggest, the thing I've noticed the most is that your music to me, has become more serious. It has a more serious bent to it. And I don't really know what that means, but it sounds more serious. It sounds weightier
Yeah.
to me. That's why I don't want to comment on it until I hear it well.
So maybe that can be the next interview. Once you get a good listen through Darling, then we can
Yeah.
dive into specifics about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to get proper legal representation about what I'm going to say, that I'm protected.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's
but,
fair.
Yeah, that's what I've noticed. A seriousness, like you're focused on it. You didn't really talk much about music during basketball season. You never did, really.
Yeah.
I mean, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Yeah.
Maybe we talk a little bit about Paul Simon records, and
Right.
that'd be about the extent of it.
Right.
But ending on a sad note, have you seen any of the clips of Paul Simon's farewell?
Yeah, he looks terrible.
That's sad. I don't think he should have done it.
No. No. That is a sad note. It's
You reach a point where you can't do it anymore.
yeah. Send us off on a happy note.
Okay, a happy note. Let's see, what do I know that's happy? What do I know that's happy?
Oh man.
I'm going to make a change in my hearing aids.
And that's happy?
That it's got to be happier because I never thought there was a real connection between your outlook. Well, I use the D word, depression, and what you hear. But there's a tremendous effect when you don't hear what's going on. And I had it with my coffee buddies this past Friday. They were saying that how difficult it is to have a conversation when the person doesn't hear you.
Well, I'd love to jump into that, but that wasn't a happy note. That's still sad.
That's not happy,
And
no.
two, that's not
coffee-
ending anything. That's just starting a whole thing about depression.
Well, this has been very enjoyable, and let's say we'll get in touch with you. We'll get in touch
My
with you.
lawyers will talk to your lawyers.
Yeah. But it's been a pleasure meeting you, and you're my oldest boy's son, right? Is that how it works?
Oldest boy's youngest son.
Oldest,
Ike.
Yeah. Ike. Okay.
Maybe if you enjoyed it enough, we could do this again sometime.
Maybe we will. And I think you've already introduced me here to the cameraman, Gabe.
The cameraman.
And I appreciate it, Gabe. I appreciate you coming into my home. This is my home.
This is your home.
We call it Ingleside Manor.
Don't give it away. People will come find
Ingleside.
you.
Oh,
We'll have to blur that out.
it's in Plainfield. We're in Plainfield. But okay, I guess we're done. So let's end with spontaneous prayer. I got it right here. It's supposed to be a joke. You wouldn't have a spontaneous prayer right now.
Just cut it. Just cut it.